that, and we're going to, just so everybody's aware, we're going to handle those on a case-by-case basis. If we have something that is well expired, meets the criteria for an abandoned vehicle, we are going to work to get that taken care of if it is on a public roadway. Last year, the governor shut down the requirement for license plates to be renewed. That does not expire. That moratorium does not expire until July, and we're also on a moratorium not to enforce those laws. So, something that's been expired 2019, 2020, there's not going to be a lot we can do with that until July, and there's not a requirement for that citizen to necessarily renew that tag if they fall within that time frame. So we will do what we can, especially with the ones outside that window, but we're not going to be able to address everything that's recently expired at this point in time. And I know we're aware that there are a lot of recently expired cars parked on the roadways. Just a reminder to everyone that if there's a tip that you would like to provide about crime in your neighborhood, whether it be drugs or what have you, we do receive the tips from Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous there. That's best served for the type of situation that does not require an immediate response. That's the FYI information that's being passed on. I think this is happening at this location. We'd appreciate it if you check it out. That number is 222-STOP. So, anybody that sees something, wants to remain anonymous, and it's not something that you feel requires an immediate police response, that's a good number to call and leave that tip. And you're always welcome to call our dispatch center and request a deputy come out or pass that same information on. And that's all I have.
I have a question, Andy. Flag. MCSO, you said call at the time of the incident. What is that number? I've gotten a lot of calls. I'm on Big Bend in the Birdland area. So
225 help.
It's the same. Oh, okay. It's 225 help. 225 help. And this is for immediate. And does this send you guys out or somebody else?
That takes you to the dispatch center. Now, obviously, if you have an emergent situation, you should call 911.
Right. But I'm saying reporting incidents like what I was told, because I guess I don't hear them, but there's pit bulls down the street. There's somebody riding. I know I hear the bikes being ridden up and down. Cars speeding up and down the street. This street's not that long for them to be doing that. So, and there's kids.
225 help will get you to the non-emergency number.
That's the non-emergency. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then otherwise, it's 911. Right?
Yeah, if you have an emergency situation, you should dial 911. If you have kids playing in a field that you feel need checked out, or kids standing alongside the street or refusing to move, for cars, just dial that non-emergency number. And when they say not moving for cars, I'm picturing some children loitering in the street, intentionally not getting out of the way of a motorist. So that send that to 225 help and just ask for a car to respond.
I did notice there's more sheriffs coming down in this neighborhood, and I was surprised. So I was wondering what was going on. They hadn't been coming as much recently.
Yeah, we've just been trying to address some of those speeding concerns. Trying to keep an eye out for the pit bulls and things like that. And then we've had some normal routine calls for service over there. But I ran the numbers for a resident over there last week, and we had been out there over 106 times, mostly initiated by the sheriff's deputies just doing proactive patrols since December. So they are in the plat trying to be visible and curtail some of that activity.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Captain Flag, if the vehicle is clearly inoperable, is that something we can deal with, even though it might also have the expired tags like that Impala I called in the other day?
Yeah, we made contact with him, and I went by that today, and I noticed that it's been drug up in the driveway. My understanding was that was involved in a recent crash. Definitely, I think we need to do something with it if it's left there long term. If it's just something where he's juggling hands to get it into the hands of the insurance company or a body shop, I would probably extend him a little courtesy there. But if it becomes a long term thing, tires are flat, that sort of thing, yes, we definitely need to deal with those as an abandoned.
Okay.
Oh, I did have, Captain Flag, I did have one more thing, and this has been going on for years, ever since because we live far away in Dayton, some of us in Dayton, some of us in Jefferson Township, there's been trucks parked, they park like on the Dayton side of the signs. And there's actually at the end of Big Bend where it goes down to Rosamond, there's two semis that they parked there. My concern is not even that the trucks are there, but they have to ride up on our streets and destroy our streets with that, coming in here. So what can be done about that?
So my understanding is the township doesn't really have authority to stop truck traffic through its area. The city may have a little bit more authority, and I'll reach out to their traffic guys tomorrow and see if they can shed any light on that, or if they have any parking prohibitions for semis in their neighborhoods for the city roadways, and see what they say. I'm not familiar with all of Dayton's ordinances, but I would venture to guess they have something somewhere, but I'd have to call and ask them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, fire report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chief Wright had a council meeting up in Dove County, asked me to pass this on to everyone. The old White Chiefs expedition had over 200,000 miles on it, and we up the ghost, I believe, yesterday. Looks like an oil pump that the chief is recommending to the trustees to scrap it, not put any money into it. It's been running rough for a little while, he said. Your quick attack pumper went up to Yike Strikes there in Inglewood, and then photographs were taken of it, and they're going to make a mock-up and approve and send it down for approval. Hopefully get that taken care of and get it in service. Hose and equipment was just mounted on it just in the last few days, so we're getting closer. The department had a tour of clean water facility. About a dozen firefighters come in, some on their day off, to take a tour of the facility. A lot of new people in the department had never been over there to see how the property is laid out, and we had a good turnout and a good tour of it. It was Sunday a week ago. Chief said he's got P&R coming out to give a quote on radio headsets for the fire engines. It's a little difficult to hear going down the road with the sirens going and the air horns, so these headsets will allow the crew members to talk to each other, getting ready for the scene as to what the officer in charge wants, and also to be able to hear and speak with the dispatchers. We released 3 people this past week from orientation on to shift work. So we got 3 new EMS firefighters ready to go. Have still 3 on orientation, but they are getting close. Also, we have 3 to 6 new people coming on that we voted for. I think it was back in the 3rd week of February. We approved them. They're ready to start orientation as once I get the blessing from HR. Time change is coming up on March 14th, so we ask everybody to change your batteries and your smoke detectors. Do the trustees have any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, in our packets, we have written reports from code enforcement and zoning. Mr. Wolf, do you want to add anything on your reports for road and admin?
Except the fact that there are hard copies as well in the mailboxes for the trustees to go along with what's been sent out by email. The only thing I have for you from the administrative report is the Ohio State auditors that sent out a engagement letter request to the township. And that engagement letter must be approved either as is or we have a chance to rebuttal. that offer. And then you have to sign that as trustees to engage the state auditor. So that email was sent to you from the auditor direct, and then I secondary sent a second email just to back that email up to you three trustees. So you had a week to prepare to do that. So have you reviewed those letters yet, or the letter yet, to be able to engage the state auditor?
I also asked that, then to make a decision on who's gonna sign it as well.
Correct, Tracy. Exactly.
Okay, anything else, Mr. Wolf?
And that's it. Thank you.
Say something? We need to make a decision on that, to get, so I could put it in the mailbox, who's gonna sign the letter, or are you guys gonna look at it and wait till the next meeting to do so? Because they need that letter back as soon as possible.
I can take a look at it and sign it if needed.
So you want me to put it in your box then?
If you want, yeah, I can take a look at it.
Okay.
Depending on what the letter states, will determine whether or not I sign it yet. You
Right.
may have to bring it back to the next meeting.
You let me know.
Sure. Okay, comments by citizens. At this time, any citizens who would like to address the Board of Trustees via Zoom, you have 3 minutes. You need to begin by identifying your name and address for the record. And an administrator and host at 3 minutes, please cut off the audio. Would guest Kevin Niles like to address the board?
Yes, this is Kevin Niles. I live at 8183 Mile Road. Really, I just have a question, and maybe it's clarification / question. The fire station that's in Liberty, is that operational? And if not, do we know when it might be? I know that there was a recent fire there, and being the closest fire station to my house, I drive by it a couple times a day. It's a little unnerving to see it just sitting there and not knowing if it's operational. So is it operational? And if not, when can we expect it to be?
Chief Wilcox, can you answer that question?
Yes, sir. This is Assistant Chief Wilcox, Fire Department. We do not have crews in that station at this time. The shower facility, toilet, sinks, the bathroom has been gutted with plans to remodel it to make it a livable station. Our crews were down there attempting to sleep, having to come up here for the restroom or for showers. So that bathroom facility was gutted down to the bare walls and floors. The trustees recently indicated an intention to remodel that, and we're looking at getting out bids. I'm not sure where it stands right now, Mr. Wolf, possibly you could answer where it's at. But once we get that bathroom rebuilt and get crews in there, that is the centrally located station in the township. I know it will improve our ISO rating operating out of that station, so we will be moving crews back down there or splitting crews, depending on how many we have a day between this station up here at West 3rd Street and the centrally located Station 59. Mr. Wolf?
The project, Mr. Niles, to do the bathroom started 5 years ago. And one chief didn't do the job. the previous chief did not do the job. So the trustees took action under the CARES Act and authorized the bathrooms to be done. Now, there's a dispute and a disagreement amongst elected officials about how it should be paid for. And so the legal counsel, we're waiting on an answer from the legal counsel of how it is to be paid for. So at the present time, the contractor can't start not knowing if they're going to get paid, or it can't pull permits and can't hire an architect because they don't know if they're going to be paid. So the project sits in limbo until the trustees get a legal advice back about how they will fund the project. Now, the trustees passed a resolution, which is a valid resolution to do the project. It is to move forward according to the Ohio Revised Code. Just a matter of how it's going to be paid per, and our assistant county prosecutor was working on that today. So that's all I have.
I appreciate the information. It's just nice to know. It's a little concerning that it sounds like it's just kind of sitting there. And again, my concern is I just seen a house burn. It's a mile from my property, and it's just a little concerning to see it just sit there. So hopefully we can get that taken care of soon and get it moving. And that's all I've got. Thank you for your time.
Okay, next we have guests Bruce and Linda. Would you like to address the board?
I have nothing at this time.
Okay, and we had another person in the meeting. It looks like that concludes citizens' comments. Looks like the last person dropped out. All right, trustee reports. Mr. McLaughlin, you're up.
Thank you. First thing, I worry about the legality of this meeting. The post it was posted on the website didn't work. I'm not sure what happened there, but let's make a little better effort to make sure that we have a correct post so people can get on. Not doing so doesn't really make the meeting legal, number one. Second comment will be on, I've been quite a bit of time. I've had several conversations with the auditors and getting involved in our audit and getting that taken care of, and then with the legal issues we've had. So I can't speak too much about either one, but I've got quite a bit of time involved in both situations. That's all I got.
Mr. Mann.
Okay, my comments today is the fire department has, we had a few firemen that changed a while back. And we have quite a few that has came on board that we're getting things together. Now, hopefully when we are get to that number that we have a good number of people that we will have this the station 59 completed so that we can move personnel into that station. And also we are working on equipment to go in there also. Medics, we're in fairly good shape. We have another medic coming in that we are going to be putting in our fleet. And we're looking at we just had 2 engines repaired, and we're looking at another engine here, or tanker, to use until the new tanker that we are speccing out comes in. So eventually we're going to be up to par as far as personnel. And we're also trying to get some more medics in, that we can put a medic on all these runs that we go in to. And I think looking at things, I think we had about, been averaging about 5 or 6 medic calls per shift. If the assistant chief can say yes or no, or give me a thumbs up.
Well, you know how it is, chief man, trustee man. One day you'll have 9 calls, the next day you won't have any. So it does fluctuate wildly.
Okay. All right, so, Ms. Niles, you just hang in there. We'll have that station opened up before long here. That's all I have.
Thank you for that.
For my report, I'm a little disappointed on how the work session went. Trustees, if you've got something to talk about, put it on the agenda. I have no problem talking about something if I know what I need to have information on to answer the questions. The situation, especially you, Mr. McLaughlin, you like to bring stuff up out of the blue. Put it on the agenda and we can talk it out. The productivity that we're getting out of the work sessions doesn't justify continuing that. And here we are, we're getting in the same situation. We're going to get up right against the April 1st deadline on this budget, which everybody knows if we don't have a budget, it shuts down the township. We continue to have too much of a situation where we have this nasty tone amongst the elected officials, and our meetings are pretty much a backstabbing contest to see who can cut the other out. Mr. McLaughlin, you're right. Just like I said at the beginning of the first meeting of the year, we're going to be consumed with nothing but litigation this year and get nothing done meaningful for our residents. It's really a disservice to our taxpayers that this is going on. All of you can blame my leadership for it, but there is no cooperation and everybody is pulling in different directions. Mr. Niles, part of the answer on Station 59, there is disagreement from fire administration and the trustees on opening that station. But I can assure you the taxpayers gave us dollars to have that station open, and I'm going to fight my best to make sure that happens. But the project was interrupted because the work wasn't being done properly. There was not correct permits. So now we've got the right type of people in there to handle this project. And my understanding is it's in the hands of the architect to scope out what needs to be done, and then things can start going again on a construction. That's the last that I heard on it, and that's been a while. That's all I have for this evening. Move to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
We're adjourned at 8:12 p.m.